Breaking down Arizona Wildcats basketball, U of A with a big win at McHale Center over the Tennessee Volunteers, 75-70. I'm David Kelly, back for another season with Steve Rivera joining me here courtside at McHale Center on what was an exciting night for college basketball here in Tucson. Steve, you've been around these types of environments for a long time. This is what we love about basketball here in Tucson.
Well, this is what we remember when Luke was here, right? Those big games, maybe a Florida game with Miller here. Crowd was crazy good. They kind of willed the team to win, and the team gave them back that will of a great game.
Much different type of game, Steve, I think, for Arizona than what they're used to playing. This is a team that likes to play above 85 points, but they had to kind of fight to win this ball game, and that was kind of what Tommy had described it was going to be. I was impressed with the way that they played down the stretch, making free throws to win a game like this. These are the types of games that you have to win come tournament time.
Without question, this is a tournament game because of the styles. Tennessee liked to slow it down. Arizona tried to speed it up. Tennessee probably did more of the slowing down than speeding up. I think it was maybe just 10 fast break points for Arizona. Not a whole lot, but they survived from the free throw line. Ballo was amazing. He hadn't been amazing to this point.
Well, I think he's been amazing pretty much all season long, if you ask me. I mean,
from the free throw line.
Well, yeah, exactly. From the free throw line, making 6 of 7. He's one of those guys, he's kind of streaky that way. You look at him, and I mean, his form's not great, but he can make them in succession, and then he'll have some nights when he doesn't shoot free throws well.
Well, he did that tonight. He hadn't been that good, but tonight he was on the money. One miss. Arizona needed every point. There's without question.
You talk about these big men, and really it's kind of been that show. I mean, Omar Ballo and Azuolas Tubelis have been the go-to guys offensively for this team. We've seen some nights like, I think against Texas A&M where they can shoot the lights out, but for the most part, this has been a team, Steve, that has dominated the ball inside.
Without question, tonight they had a hard time getting over the tops because Tennessee was a big team. A good sign, though, they survived this game. Whether they went slow, they couldn't do exactly what they always want to do, go over the top, but the two guys found a way to score, and they scored enough points. Azuolas has been fantastic. Ballo has been just below that, if not any better. Great 1-2 punch. Best 1-2 punch in a while.
And I mean, you can say this across basketball, but it's when you start to get some of those other guys involved that you can begin to win consistently. And Pelle Larsson, over the course of, I think, the last 4 games, has kind of been the Pelle Larsson that we were hoping that he would be all season.
Right, I asked him that question, what has he done differently? Just working harder, maybe more opportunities or going after more opportunities. But you're right, it's a mixed bag of guys finally kind of playing together more or complementing each other in better ways.
And because you look at a fact that, this is 2 games in a row, essentially you did not have Kerr Kriisa, but then at the end of the game, you got Courtney Ramey, who's a veteran guy, stepping up, makes a big 3, gets another big assist. I mean, that's the kind of guys that you like to have when you're looking at, guys that come in here for 1 or 2 years, a Courtney Ramey style guy who's had a lot of experience. Like he said, look, I've played in big ball games before. Those are the types of graduate transfers that you want to have in a program like this.
Without question. They got 4 guys in double figures. I think Kerr was the only one that didn't. And he had a pretty good game after being sick earlier in the week. I just think that they're playing well together. They talked about it earlier in the week. They're playing as a team. And that's kind of been the way the last year and a half. Play as a team, take your chances, and play inside out.
Concerned at all that there have been games like this year where you don't get much out of your bench and you kind of have to rely on those starting 5?
I don't know if a concern. They're good and they're capable. We've seen it. Yeah. But you won't get them all the time. You did on Monday or Tuesday, whatever day that was.
Yeah, today had 16 in that game.
It wasn't Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Right.
These are the games that he's going to have to go tight with maybe 6-7 guys. He's going to need the bench, but maybe not in these big games. Just that they better hope they don't get into foul trouble.
Who has been maybe the most surprising, or what's kind of been your biggest surprise so far this season?
Abalo, what a fantastic year he's had to this point. Very mobile, runs the court very well, hasn't been in foul trouble all that much. And there was a kid named Coloco here. Do you remember him anymore? He's been that good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, to me, when I look at my biggest takeaway, maybe of not even just this season, but the 2 seasons under Tommy Lloyd, it's just been his ability to develop big men.
I knew you were going to use that word because he's right. He's developing his players for the better, way better. Come on, Matherin, Coloco, and Terry. Now you got some other groups that are doing the same thing. That's not by accident. He's doing it because he knows how to do it.
Right. What do you kind of think about this Pac-12 conference from what you've seen so far this season?
Well, I thought that they had a chance to win it all before the season started, the Pac-12. I still think that's a possibility. I had them number 2. I think they have a chance to win it all. Hey, those UCLA games are going to be fantastic. Don't we want those to be fantastic here in a way?
I got to turn around real quick here and see if I can. The numbers are still up on the wall from 2017 and 2018. We learned that this week that those numbers are going to be coming down. Just kind of your final thoughts on the wrap-up of the NCAA bribery scandal and kind of where it ended.
It was a bit of a surprise that Miller didn't get any kind of sanctions, to be fair. But Arizona played it smart. They eliminated the 21 year by giving the year up. Went with the IARP. They took their chance with them instead of the NCAA. And apparently the IARP has some conscience, or they were very sympathetic, or whatever the word. It was a good pick for Arizona to go that route. It's over.
Yeah,
it's over for everybody, even for the people that cover.
I think it's over in terms of we know now what the results are, but obviously, and I think the one thing maybe people are not necessarily talking a lot about is this is still something, and it's in the report there that they've got to talk to with recruits. I mean, when recruits come here to campus, they've got to tell them what happened. Now, what will that matter at all to kids coming in now that they know? I mean, probably not.
Probably not. No, that's kind of like, okay, we got to tell you this, but you still like Arizona, don't you? Sean survived a while, knowing that this was the thing over the program, the cloud over the program, and he got players to come here. Tommy will be fine, whether you have to tell him or you don't have to tell him. Arizona's basketball is going to be okay.
All right, let's talk, and we'll get into this more in a show later on after the first of the year. But you've got a book out now, and another book. This is book number what now?
6, book number 6. This is a special book because it's a tribute book to Lute Olson. I talked to 25 people. Many athletes are former players of his. Talked to Roy Williams, talked to Mike Montgomery, Ronnie Lester. A fun book, kind of love letters to Lute. They had a great time talking to me because they kind of spilled their guts about him.
Absolutely. What was give me maybe right now one story that you really liked?
Oh God, there's so many. I use the Damon Stoudemire story often enough, but when he was being recruited by Lute up in Portland, one day Lute went in his car, a Lexus, a nice Lexus, obviously, right? And Damon said the only people that ever drove Lexuses were drug dealers, and now it's college basketball coaches. Because that's all he knew back in the day.
That's pretty. Drug dealers and college basketball coaches driving Lexuses. All right, I needed some hazard pay down here on the sidelines. The bodies were just flying all over the place tonight. I almost feel like I played in this ball game tonight. 75-70, the Wildcats, number 9 in the country, beat the number 6 Tennessee Volunteers, so they'll probably be moving back up into the top 7 to start the week. And Steve, as always, we appreciate you taking some time to join us.
Thank you, David Kelly. Always good. Glad that you didn't mess up the suit.
Yeah, I can't mess up the suit. Even with bodies and sweat flying around, you still got to look good out here at the McHale Center. All right, stay with us for continuing coverage of Arizona Wildcats basketball.